Hi guys, July here again with another video. I was gone for 2 months, unfortunately, due to illness, but I have almost fully recovered now, so I am back with a new video. And today's video is inspired by AndrewAJT's screenshot videos. Given that I have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of screenshots in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of folders on my computer that I never really get a chance to share, I thought, well, maybe I should do something with them as well, so I'm going to be starting a new video series where I will be showing some interesting screenshots that I have, and then I will talk a little bit about them. Okay, so let's get started with the first screenshot. So this screenshot was taken in February or March of 2001 by the fan site World of RuneScape. So that was 3 months after the release of RuneScape. Notice in the top right corner how the icon for the friends list, which is a yellow smiley, is missing. That was added in April of 2001 together with the friends list. So before April of 2001 there were no friends lists. So the screenshot itself depicts a bug. So the one player that's saying, "No, I am telling the truth," is stuck in a normally inaccessible area. That area at the time consisted of houses that were not yet available to the public, but that were destined to become player-owned houses. I could say quite a bit about player-owned houses, but in short, these are the player-owned houses that ended up becoming the player-owned houses for the construction skill more than 5 years later, of course, with a different concept. It turns out that the creators of RuneScape at the time could not implement the player-owned houses due to technical limitations. That's why the original concept of having player-owned houses in Varrock and Falador, for that matter, ended up being scrapped, but I will make a separate video about this at some point because there's quite a lot to tell about that. So anyway, you see a player that's stuck in the area with player-owned houses that was not yet released at the time. And so how he got there, that is an interesting story, because on the 23rd of January of 2001, so that is just 19 days after the release of RuneScape, there was a bug abuser who got stuck in the bank of Varrock. The incident at the time became referred to as the Varrock bank robbery. Then Andrew showed up and decided to set the bug abuser free by teleporting him to another location in Varrock, but he accidentally ended up teleporting him to the area with the player-owned houses, which was inaccessible. So he could not leave the area. Keep in mind, this was at a time when there were no teleportation spells yet at all, so there was really no way for him to leave. So the bank robbery happened in January, but this screenshot was taken in either February or March. The reason why the player waited so long to try to get out is a little bit of a mystery. Anyway, so that was screenshot 1. As you can see, there's a lot of history in just one screenshot, and let's see if we can do this for other screenshots as well. So for the second screenshot, we have a high score screenshot from the day that the summoning skill was released, which is the 15th of January of 2008. And this screenshot was taken at around 10 PM UK time. So before the release of Summoning, Zedzima was ranked 1 in the high scores, and he was very far ahead of anyone else. In fact, even when this screenshot was taken, Zedzima was the only player with more than 1 billion total XP. So the player that we see on ranked 1 is XXPadMage XX, or Fatmage, whatever you want to call her, because it's a she. And there's something interesting about her as well, because 3 years later, so in 2011, she ended up having her stats halved. I remember that she claimed that she had been hacked and that someone had used a bot on her account, but we will never really know what truly happened. Then for the third screenshot, and this is probably the point at which I should tell you how I selected these screenshots. So all the screenshots in this video were not handpicked. Instead, I used a random number generator. I assigned numbers to the hundreds of folders that I have, and then I assigned numbers to the individual screenshots, and then I used a random number generator to end up on the screenshots that you see. Now in this case, I ended up on a screenshot of the Grand Exchange, but not this one, because I gotta be honest, with so many screenshots that I have, there are a lot of screenshots that are not really suitable for a video like this. So then I just end up going to the next best one in the list. What's special about this screenshot is just the fact that it shows a graphical glitch. Those were common for the Grand Exchange, maybe because there was a lot of traffic there, I don't know. For example, you can see that the bankers, etc., and the Grand Exchange clerks are all missing. And something else I can add to that as a little fun fact is that the same is true for the dungeoneering and construction skills. For some reason, those two skills tended to have problems with graphical glitches, and I'm sure of that because I got a whole folder full of screenshots that are just graphical glitches for dungeoneering and construction, so maybe one of them will show up in another video later on. Then the fourth screenshot shows a post on the RuneScape forums from the 29th of May of 2014, and I'm just going to read it first. So it says, if you played in 2006, you would know that bots did not make up 80% of the active population. I maybe saw 1 or 2 bots for every 10 players. We routinely had over 200k players online and often hit above 250k. Why is my friends list 100% offline 24/7 if the majority of players who quit were bots? Then it says presumably so I did not have bots on my friends list. It's not wrong to admit the game is less popular today. There's no reason to be in denial about it. This is clearly in a thread that discusses bots, and we can say something about those statistics. So what we're interested in here is the 80% at the top. Is that true or not? That's something I did try to figure out some time ago. So here is what you should know, right? So in 2011, in October of 2011, Jagex rolled out the Cluster Flutterer anti-bot technology. And what that did is that the moment it was implemented in RuneScape, there was an immediate decrease by 60% in the number of active players. So which does suggest that 60% of the active population might have consisted of bots at the time. So the 80% is maybe a little bit too far-fetched, but 60% could be true, bearing in mind that this screenshot talks about 2006, while Cluster Flutterer was rolled out 5 years later. Then the next screenshot shows an abstract of a study with 540 participants comparing adolescent gamers with adult gamers. I'll start by saying that this study is not about RuneScape but about EverQuest, but I thought at the time that it was still interesting because maybe it says some things about the RuneScape community as well. So I'm just going to read the results and let's talk about it then. So I'll start in the bottom half of the abstract. It begins somewhere with results showed that adolescent gamers were significantly more likely than adult gamers, that is, to be male, significantly less likely to gender swap their characters, and significantly more likely to sacrifice their education or work. In relation to favorite aspects of gameplay, the biggest difference between the groups was that significantly more adolescents than adults claimed that their favorite aspect of playing was violence. Results also showed that in general, the younger the player, the longer they spent each week playing. So when my random number generator landed on this screenshot, I thought, you know what, should I really include this in this video? And I did anyway, because perhaps you recognize some of this in RuneScape, or even in yourself if you compare your current self with your younger self. So maybe you want to go over the results in the abstract again. This study is from March of 2004. So that's when RuneScape 2 was basically brand new. So then the next screenshot, it shows the news post for the release of the knowledge base in March of 2006. So what was the knowledge base? So to answer that, let's flash forward to 2011 when Jagex launched their own wiki on their own website. It's on runescape.com. We all know what a wiki is, right? So the knowledge base was essentially the precursor and also available on the RuneScape website from 2006 until 2011, which is when RuneScape basically replaced it with an upgraded version, so to speak. But that one did not last forever either, because in 2016 Jagex removed the RuneScape wiki once again, probably because it wasn't as useful, and also because probably most of the community was already using the unofficial RuneScape wiki, so not on the website of RuneScape, you know which one I mean, and the one that has been around since 2005, I think. So just to clarify that this RuneScape wiki on the RuneScape website is not the same as the RuneScape wiki that you and I both use today when we look for information about the game. Alright, then the next screenshot shows the Sandwich Lady. So random events were released together with RuneScape 2 in 2004 as a new way of catching bots. I'm sure we've all encountered random events at some point. If it's not in the original game at the time, then maybe the ones that are still left in old school RuneScape today, right? So random events were removed in October of 2012 because better bot technology had been implemented by then, such as Cluster Flutterer that I talked about earlier in this video. So then the Sandwich Lady random event was released in January of 2006. The people who occasionally watch RuneScape live streams or the official RuneScape videos will probably know already that the Sandwich Lady was based on an actual lady who used to deliver sandwiches at Jagex, so it was inspired by a real life event, so to speak. I can't remember who exactly revealed that information, but I thought it was Mod Mark in one of the videos on YouTube. Anyway, moving on. So here we see a scene from the quest, the Fremennik Trials. The quest was released in November of 2004, and one of the rewards is an enchanted lyre, which you can use to teleport, I believe. So anyway, but recharging it happens here at the Fosse Grimmen Spirit, or Fosse Grimmen Spirit, I don't know how you pronounce it. There is nothing prestigious or truly historic to tell about this quest. Other than that, of course, this is the quest that introduced the best pet ever to the game, and that is the pet rock. Next, we have a screenshot of a part of the RuneScape interface. Now, to the trained eye, this is clearly a screenshot that was taken in the first half of 2004. And how do we know this? Well, because if you look at the stone border, each of these stones are bigger, or more specifically wider, I should say, than what you would see in most old RuneScape screenshots from early RuneScape 2. So, and what's up with that? Well, that is because the stones were indeed bigger until June of 2004. An update during that month made the stones a little bit more narrow to make the game fit better for people running the game on monitors with a screen resolution of 800 by 600 pixels. So this screenshot was definitely taken either during the RuneScape 2 beta or during the first months of the live RuneScape 2 game. So that is the final days of March of 2004 and then April, May and June. And then coincidentally, my random number generator landed on a screenshot that allows us to do pretty much the same for this screenshot as we did with the previous screenshot. So when I see old screenshots, what I love to do is try to pinpoint the date at which the screenshot was taken. Because, I don't know, for some reason I feel like it makes it more special if you can figure out when exactly something was taken. And obviously that's never really going to happen. You're just going to end up with a period. Could be several months, could be several years. But I believe it adds to the value of the screenshot. So let's try to figure out when exactly this screenshot was taken. And maybe you can use some of this information to, to try it yourself with other screenshots. So when we have RuneScape 1 screenshots, then the first thing I look at is if the report button is missing or not. So normally the report button is a red one in the bottom right corner. And as you can see, that one is missing here. The button was added to the game in September of 2002. So we know that this is a screenshot that was taken before September of 2002. Then what we can also see, now if you remember the first screenshot in this video, it did not have an icon for the friends list. This one does have one. In the top right corner you see the yellow smiley face, that's to indicate the friends list. So this screenshot was taken after 6th April of 2001, because that is when the friends list was added to the game. Then you can also see the guy with black armor in the center with a shield. He is either wearing an Amulet of Accuracy or a diamond necklace. I think it is an Amulet of Accuracy. which does not help us because that one was added to the game together with the quest Imp Catcher in February, so that is already before our cutoff date. But if it is a diamond necklace, that changes things because the diamond necklace was introduced together with the crafting skill in May of 2001, so that's a month later. I personally think it's a amulet of accuracy. I think the diamond necklace looked darker and more yellowish, but I'm not sure. Now, unfortunately, there is nothing else in the screenshot that really helps us, but the lack of rune equipment suggests that this is probably a screenshot from 2001. Rune equipment was released in July, August, and September of 2001, but the parts that could not be purchased in the in-game shops remained quite difficult to obtain for some time. So that may be why there are no runed items in the screenshot, but that's hard to say for sure because this could also just be a bunch of low-level players who do not yet have the required levels for rune equipment. So the overall conclusion for this screenshot is that it was definitely taken between April of 2001 and September of 2001, and then probably in 2001. So that is an old screenshot for sure, but it is certainly not as old as the first screenshot in this video with the guy getting stuck in the player-owned house area in Varrock. By the way, I do also have a screenshot of the bank robbery from 23rd January 2001 that I described together with the first screenshot, so maybe I will get to share it in one of the videos as well. We will see. Okay, so anyway, that was my first video in this video series. I hope that you liked this concept. Do make sure to let me know in the comments. And then I will also quickly add a reminder that if you like old screenshots, I do post some almost daily on my RuneScape Twitter and Facebook pages. I will leave a link in the video description. So thank you for watching, and then I will see you again in my next video.